Hare Krishna. Have you ever thought about reading verses in English? Verses in Sanskrit are transliterated in English. And sometimes people think that, okay, it's out of my brain, it's out of my books, I can't read this. But actually, it's really easy and it's not at all difficult. Well, first of all, let's discuss why is this important. Why is this important to read these verses? We could just stick to the translation and we could know what's the translation. The verses, we don't even understand them. But actually, it's really necessary. It's necessary to read verses. Do you know why? Because these verses actually give us the strength to read the translation and to understand the purport in translation, actually. So it's really important for us to read words of God. Krishna himself is speaking those words in Sanskrit, and if we read them, just think how much potency do they have and how much strength will they give us. Don't think that you don't understand some language and you don't know how to read it, you won't be able to get any benefit out of it. But actually, it's the truth. You get the benefit. Just think you read the same words which Arjun spoke, who is a great devotee, which Krishna spoke, which Uddhavji spoke, which everybody, like the Mahabharata and Chaitanya Charitamrita, so great exalted devotees spoke those verses. And if you talk about demons, even the demons were great sages in their last times. And they weren't not qualified people, they were actually so qualified that they could fight with Krishna. So they weren't demons, they were also devotees just to collaborate with Krishna in his pastimes, add on to his leelas. So even if we read the verses said by Hiranyakashipu, it's potent. So it's really, really necessary that you read these verses. As you know that there will be 3 videos, so this is the first one, which only talks about the necessity of us reading the verses. And I won't talk about anything with how to read them, but it's about how important these verses are, because it's important. It's important. Just like once His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj was telling that he was sitting in a lecture in India of Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada was using Hindi. And all these foreigner devotees didn't understand Hindi. So, the main thing they would do was sleeping because they didn't understand the language and they had to sit in the lecture. So everybody just slept, and in the middle of the lecture, Srila Prabhupada just scolded them. Hey, wake up! You need to hear. No matter in which language he's saying and what he's saying, but the potency of his words can actually get into your brain, get into your heart, so that you can feel. And then they didn't sleep in the lecture. Of course, they didn't understand. It's not that the magic happened and they got to know everything, but that potency of Srila Prabhupada's words got into them. And whatever he was saying, they didn't know what he was saying, but it just got into their heart. The main thing is that we realize these words, not only read and not only, tell some other people. And the reason why the ISKCON devotees learn these verses, it's not that they want to show off. It's not that they want to say, okay, I know these many verses out of Bhagavad Gita and these many out of Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's it. No, these verses are learned so that we can actually get the power out of them. Whenever we remember these verses, we can actually feel that it's Krishna saying. And one more thing, like Srila Prabhupada, you might be hearing him, and he used to actually say a lot of verses during his lectures. So he's like, in every line there's a verse. So why is it? Does he want to show off? No. What he wants to do is to authorize it, to let people know that he is not speaking by himself. He is speaking from the, authority, and he is speaking what Krishna himself has said and the Vaishnavas themselves have said. So even when you deliver a lecture, you need to know these verses so that you can authorize what you're saying, because we don't have that ability to make something. Even Vyasadeva was not an ordinary man who compiled all these Vedas. So it's important for us to authorize these things, and of course, to be humble, we have to say that I didn't do it, someone else did that. So it also shows the humility of Srila Prabhupada and even the devotees who use these verses, that they don't think that they are saying something. Because even in any lecture, you won't be hearing that, okay, in my opinion, even Srila Prabhupada's lectures or any devotees' lectures, any Prabhupada disciples' lectures, you won't hear something like, okay, in my opinion, I would say this. According to me, or I think. No, they never use this. So, the thing they use is, in this scripture, this is written. And according to this scripture, this is written. And according to Krishna and what I've heard from other Vaishnavas, this is written. So it also shows your humility. So it's really important for us to use these verses. And I really hope that you might love reading these verses. So after you have got this importance, their value, because without anything, in this world, humans have a basic strategy that I will only take which benefits me and nothing else. I mean, what is this thing benefiting me? No, nothing. So I won't take that. So that's why it's really, really important for us to know why are we trying to read all these verses, because they're potent. And so now we have learned why are we reading, then we'll have that excitement to learn more. And the next 2 videos will be coming soon, so stay tuned and Hare Krishna.